Senator Johnson on the bill.
Thank you, Senator Lanza, for introducing what I believe is a very important piece of legislation. I see this as reasonable people with reasonable positions can differ. The fact is that our residents all across the state, and in particular Long Island, are hurting right now. You can drive from the Queens-Nassau border all the way out to the Hamptons, from my district out to Senator Laval's and Senator Trunzo's district, and see the rise in gas prices, even at the pump, from going west to east. And there's no doubt that legislation that comes before us sometimes has imperfections. And obviously, in hearing the debate, my colleagues have some real concerns about whether or not there's going to be a real tangible savings put into the wallets of our consumers with respect to this legislation. Now, what's interesting is Senator Clinton, Hillary Clinton's plan was referenced in this debate. And what's important to recognize, and an important component, and even members of my own party differ on whether or not it's a valuable plan, is that she wants the oil companies to cover the freight when it comes to the tax. Same oil companies making record profits take a little bit out of their pocket to help out our residents across the nation. There's nothing in this legislation that would address that, and maybe when it passes this House, and I'm hopeful it passes this House, that we can go back and address that issue. Maybe we can go back and address the issue of criminal price gouging, because watch the news today. Go home, when we go home, watch the news tonight. No doubt on one of the major news channels, someone will talk about gas hitting $5 a gallon this summer. No doubt someone will talk about maybe hitting $6 a gallon. Somehow we have to address the gouging issue, because my concern is that notwithstanding the savings we put back to our residents, what in this bill stops a wholesaler or a gas company from just simply marking up the price? That's something we should probably address going forward after today. But the fact is that our residents, and you and I listen to them every day, and we hear from them every day, need action now. They need some form of relief now. They don't need to hear the talking. And quite frankly, what we also need to see is some action from the Assembly side on this legislation. And obviously, I will speak to my colleagues in the Assembly, just like I hope my colleagues in the majority do the same thing. Because it's not about finger pointing, and I agree with you, Senator Lanza. The finger pointing has to stop, because that doesn't help our constituents. They do not want us up here to finger point. They want us to help them. And so if it's a choice between a bill that has some flaws or a choice between doing something for our residents, I'll do something that helps our residents. I appreciate the efforts, and this is a good bill. And I'll work with you, Senator Lanza, to strengthen the bill. I think we need to, in a bipartisan manner. Democrats and Republicans working together to help improve the lives of our residents. So when it comes time to vote, Mr. President, I will be voting in the affirmative and supporting this piece of legislation. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. President. On the bill,
Senator Diaz on the bill.
I am very glad to hear my Democrat